What's going on, everybody? Keith, Do Guys How To. Thanks for checking the channel out. And I'm getting ready to get Stella out on her dirt bike. I just rebuilt the carburetor. It's a little PW80, but most of them are all the same, whether it's Chinese, Japanese. This is a Japanese Yamaha PW80. Any of them are going to take, this is a particular two-cycle, they're all going to need to be have oil change. So this one takes the two-cycle gas up in the gas tank, or some of them have a little side compartment here where the oil's up under here and it injects the oil. This is a two-stroke versus a four-stroke. A four-stroke would take regular gas in here. This one takes an oil mixed with the gas because it's a two-stroke cylinder, and it's got your check stick here, your dipstick, and it takes your oil and your crankcase, which lubricates your gears and everything. So make sure you check what type of bike yours is and how it all works. And if you look underneath there, we need to change the oil. There's a little oil check plug under there, drain plug. The check stick's here and the drain plug is there, and it feels about like maybe a 17 millimeter, 15 millimeter, somewhere around in there. So we're gonna go ahead and change this oil. This particular one has the listing on the side, 650 centimeters cubed of oil. So you're gonna have to go onto Google and Google what 650 centimeters cubed is. If this check stick here, you want to make sure you get this this cap off before you drain the oil. Sometimes they're on there pretty dang good, but we're going to get this off. I need to go and get actually a wrench just to slightly get this off. Somebody over tightened it. We got this bike used. If you don't have a mixing cup here that converts it into the centimeters squared, because like I said, this is a Japanese bike, you can get one of these mixing cups and it has ounces there. It has a couple other listings on here. I've had this thing for so long. It has pints, ounces, and liters. And over here is where you mix your gas ratios, your 32 to 1, 30 to 1, 52 to 1, depending on what gallon tank you have. And you got to learn kind of how to use these. We can do that on another episode. But let's first get this out. If this doesn't have a check stick down in there to give your oil level height, we're going to have to convert this on Google. So let's go ahead and get this off and see what we've got going on here. Drop this oil drain plug here, get all the fluid out. I got the bike nice and hot, so it should come right out fast. So I got a little wrench just to lightly get this cap off. Make sure you always take your check cap or your fill cap. This is where we actually put the oil in. It seems like somebody over tightened it or maybe misthreaded it going in. That's the problem when you get these used bikes. So let's make sure we get that out, clean it off. I'm gonna look at it. There's a gasket around there. Sometimes they go bad. This one doesn't look real bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and and you can see somebody had threaded it incorrectly. So I've got to order another one of these online. This particular one has the check stick in it, so when it goes down in there, you can see it'll come up on this little hashtag marks here of how much oil you actually need in the cylinder. If it didn't have this stick on it, which most of them don't, they just look like that, you'd have to convert these 650 centimeters cubed into actual ounces if you're in the US or whatever country you're in. Convert it into what you know how to mix it in. We have quarts of oil here in the US. This is 946 milliliters. So you would have to convert these centimeters cubed into milliliters or quart. That way you can measure it off in your your measuring cup to figure out how much oil. On this particular one, we're just going to add a little bit of oil at a time. Put this dipstick back in, keep taking it out gently until it gets up onto these hashtag marks right there on the full level. So I'm going to set that back in. I am going to order a new stick online here. It threads in, but it's threaded incorrectly. Or chances are this stick could be the wrong one for the bike because we did get it used. So now I'm curious to see if somebody swapped this out or if that check stick's actually accurate. I'm going to Google that when we take a break. And let's just get started here by taking this drain plug out of the bottom here. On this particular bike, yeah, it is a 17 millimeter. So let's get under there and make sure it does match. Yep, she matches. So let me get you guys down and dirty with me so you can see this thing come out of here. And you want to locate that bolt. That bolt is right under your crankcase. I got my drip tray under here. First, I'm going to crack it loose and see if I can do this one-handed here. Yep. So we've got that loose. I got my drip tray under there. And let's just go ahead and see if we can take this drain plug out and get this oil out of here while it's nice and hot. Boom, there comes the oil on out of there. There's our drain plug. I don't see a gasket on this particular drain plug. Normally they have one. I'm gonna double check to see if they come with one stock or not. And we're just gonna let that oil drain on out of there. And that's why we always take the top part off here, just to let some air in so it'll come out. And we can go ahead and tilt this bike up, straight up and down. Let me get you guys back onto the tripod here. And you can see what's up. Let's go ahead and move this thing straight up and down and just make sure we get all that oil out. And when we check the oil, we want the bike to be flat as well. If you check it at an angle, you're gonna end up overfilling it. And I got this bike good and hot. I rode it around the yard. Stella was riding it. So that way the oil comes out nice and easy. Today we've got Lucas oil. This is a 2050, and this is specifically designed for motorcycles and wet clutches. It's a little thicker. You can go with a 1030 or 1040 if you don't have a Lucas or some other kind of equivalent motorcycle oil. Just run what you have, a 1030 or 1040. If it's in the winter time, you want to go a little thinner. If it's in the summertime, you can get away with going a little thicker. That way it won't take as long. It'll take a lot longer for it to break down and really not doing its job as a lubricant and a cleaning agent inside that crankcase. So now that we've got it drained out, I'm going to tilt the bike back on its side a little bit. And we've got the Lucas, and I've also got a little bit of this Lucas synthetic additive. This is really thin. They make a thicker version. This is the pure synthetic. I'm going to add just a cup, maybe a half cup of this in there, just a little bit, just to prolong the life of this motor, since I know this motor is used and it's been beat down a little bit. And we've got a funnel as well that we're going to use in the top here. So let's go ahead and clean this drain plug off. I'm just going to change the oil today, and then while she's riding, I'm going to go inside, check for leaks. If no leaks are coming, I'm not going to worry about the drain plug gasket, but there should be a drain plug gasket on the bottom of these drain plugs. I'm going to look up under there and see if I see one. And I'm going to feel with my finger, see if I feel one, and I don't feel one. All right, yep, so luckily in the garage we actually have an aluminum drain plug on these Japanese, on the Hondas, Toyotas, things like that, and even the dirt bikes, they always use a metal drain plug gasket, and we always swap them after every use. So this one's good. It looks like an M12, M13. It's aluminum. It fits on good, so I'm going to run this right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this right back up where we took it out. The bike's good and drained out. You know it's all out because we tipped it up straight. And let's go ahead and just tighten this thing back up. Let's get this oil drain pan out of the way so we don't drop our sockets in it. And I'm just going to hand tighten it at first. And just give it a little snug down with this 3/8 drive here. You don't want to over tighten it because you'll strip those threads in the pan. There we go, nice and snug. That's good to go. We'll go ahead and shake our check stick out. We've got our little funnel here. Like I said, I'm going to add a little bit of that Lucas additive, just a pinch worth. This is almost as good as oil. You can use it as straight oil. They don't pay me to say this. I should have bought stock in them and asked them if they'd sponsor me, because I use this stuff in everything. I use the synthetic in the import cars and the motorcycles, and I use the thicker stuff in the older trucks. Even this stuff in the newer trucks, the 020 weight oil, the 030 weights, I use this on every oil change. So now while that's draining down in there, let's just go ahead and top it off with some of this good 2050 weight Lucas motor oil, motorcycle motor oil. And it's good for your crankcase. It's a high performance for the engine, transmission, and your primary. If you're running Harley Davidson or anything like that, this stuff's great for that as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour a little bit in there, maybe not even quite a half quart. And we're going to keep checking this with the stick. Like I said, if this didn't have a stick, I would go and I would Google how many centimeters cubed of oil and convert it into your type of fluid ounces or pints or quarts or whatever you want to, whatever your country or your place has. So let's go ahead and set this thing straight up and down. Set this off to the side. Let's go ahead and just put the stick down in here, see if we're getting any registering on the stick. I'm not seeing any yet. So I'm going to add a little bit more while keeping it upright. Let's go ahead and put the stick. I'm going to put the stick down in there. I'm not going to screw it down in there yet. I'm just going to set it on there and pull it up. And I see a little bit coming on the bottom of that stick. So I know when I screw it in, it's going to line up with those threads. The depth of the threads will push the stick down in and we'll be dead on. So I'm not even going to double check it. I would recommend you do it, but I don't need to because I do this all the time. This particular one, I usually just hand tighten it, thumb tighten it down. This particular one is a little strip, but we're good to go. So the oil's in. We had a little bit of Lucas. We know the drain plug's in. The drain plug has that new gasket on it because it looked like it was missing one. We bought this used off the internet, and kids that had it before had the carburetor all messed up and everything else. So let's go ahead and kick start it, make sure everything's good to go. Turn the gas on. All right. I'm going to go ahead and check it one more time now that we ran it. Got it up where it's supposed to go. These bikes don't take any oil filters or anything like that. If your bike takes an oil filter, you'd have to go ahead and check the level because the oil filter will suck up a good little bit of oil. Quarter quart, half quart. Some of the big truck oil filters will take 2 quarts. So let's put it down in there, see what we've got. Take it back out. It's pretty clean. It could use just a hair more, so I'm going to add just a teeny bit more on it. You don't want to overfill it. Just make sure it's dead on. And we're good to go. Let me dip this stick down in there one more time. Yeah. So I know when we tighten it, it's going to be good to go. Right now, the motor's still got a lot of oil up in there, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to start it, get that oil up around there, get it on that crank, get it up on those transmission gears, and we're good to go. That's it. Stella's bike's ready. She's back on the road, actually back in the grass to do some wheelies and more crazy stuff that she might be doing on this. So that's it. Change that oil yourself, save that money, get all the necessary stuff. You saw how easy it was, how quick it was, and that's it. Get some of it, save that money. Keith, 2 Guys How To. I'm out. What's up, Iggy? Talk to him before I shut the video down. Oh yeah. Yep. You're not a pig, you're a lawyer. He's not a pig, he's a lawyer. Peace.
I'm not a pig, I'm a lawyer.